From Indianapolis, this is the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. The Indy Ignite at 12 and 10, looking to make a postseason push. The Vegas Thrill just looking to stay alive. They would be out with a loss tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here in Indianapolis in the Fishers Events Center. Looking at the updated Pro Volleyball Federation standings, Indy, see the top 4 teams make the postseason. Omaha, Atlanta have already clinched. Indy is there at 12 and 10 in the final playoff spot. Vegas at 8 and 14. Once again, would be out with a loss. AJ Cannell alongside the Florida State All-American Madison Fitzpatrick. Let's start with Indy, though. They've lost their last 2 right now, still very much in the postseason. But how do they solidify things and make sure they're in the right rhythm looking ahead to the playoffs?
Well, here's the thing. Indy has proven time and time again that they are in this. They are in this for the playoffs. They have one of the top offenses in the league. They're leading the league in kills and points per set. So now it's just about finding that rhythm that they had earlier in the season and gaining some momentum to tack on some wins.
Huge addition, though, for the Ignite. Katie Baird, Stanford University, came over from overseas and having a great start after being signed recently by Indy.
Katie Baird's transition onto this team has been absolutely seamless, which is not an easy thing to do, and she adds in every facet of the game for this Indy Ignite team. She's a stabilizer and serve-receive, extremely physical on the block. She's got great ball control and middle back, and she can carry that point-scoring load that an outside is asked to. Now, she's only played in 3 matches so far, but she has burst onto the scene seemingly very comfortable and confident with 17, 15, and 17 kills.
And for Vegas, they've lost 12 out of their last 13. They've really been struggling, but they know they can rely on the veteran setter, Alicia Childress.
Alicia Glass-Childress is the quarterback of the Thrill, and she's an elite one at that. Childress is an Olympic bronze medalist in Rio and a 3-time national champion at Penn State. I mean, talk about a resume. All this experience is seen on the court. The accuracy, poise, and volleyball IQ that she plays with makes her a very steady leader of this team that has a good amount of youth.
Let's take a look at our Ren Athletics starting lineups. Charity Looper gets the starting nod for Hannah Maddox today with Adora Anai. Recent signing for Vegas once again slotted in as the OH1. Lane Van Busker gets the start for Morgan Stout. She'd been subbing in for Stout in recent matches. Oblad has the other middle. Cameron Hanna back into the starting lineup as well, with Ramon Hernandez-Cruz making a bunch of changes. Childress at setter, Troll at libero. And for Indy, Anna DeBeer. They feel like for her, she's better when she's starting because they don't have to worry about that ankle getting cold. So it's Baird and DeBeer on the outside, Crawford and Martin in the middle, Teeler and Hilly on the right side, and Elena Scott at libero. The Thrill visiting the Ignite. If this match even touches the 5th set, the Thrill will be out of the postseason due to tie-breaking rules. Vegas has to win in 4 sets or fewer, and Anai gets an opening swing. But Indy wins the opening point on DeBeer's serve.
We're going to see a lot of balls go to Adora Anai, the Valkyries' leading scorer last season, now with the Thrill, 190 kills on the season.
Cameron Hanna with a hitting error. Problem that's been plaguing Vegas as of late. Over 7 errors per set over the last 4 matches.
And if you want to beat a really good team, if you want to beat an elite team, you have to play more consistent and limit those errors. Give yourself a chance.
Mary Schroll handles the serve. It had been Tegan DeFalco in their most recent match at libero. Now back to Schroll. Teeler cuts one inbounds. Now Adora Anai tips over the block. Scott is a great second ball setter. Ajani Teeler with a swing. Out of system, Adora Anai, high swing, and another Vegas hitting error. Indy is flying at the start.
One of the characteristics of the Pro Volleyball Federation is elite out-of-system setting. Both of those liberos in that play, really solid out-of-system sets by them.
3 straight points on Anna DeBeer's serve before that service error for the Louisville alum. Lydia Martin in the middle, an undrafted rookie out of Oklahoma. What a season she is having.
I mean, she has been playing absolutely phenomenal. She gets up so high, she creates so many angles for herself, and her efficiency is second in the league at 350.
Only Corey Lewis, another rookie for Atlanta, has a better efficiency this year. Back set. And that was a great decision by Childress, surprising Indy's block, and Cameron Hanna takes care of it. Ramon Hernandez-Cruz in his first year as Vegas Thrill head coach. Played at Penn State from 1991 through 94, a native of Puerto Rico. Katie Baird, who Vegas said they plan to target in serve receive, especially with DeBeer in there. They're going to serve a lot at Baird. Baird keeps that one up, as does Crawford. Straight down the line, and I twist that one out of play. The Indy lead early on.
And I was left with a one-on-one situation there. Cece Crawford holding in the middle, couldn't get there to close. So I'm surprised Anai didn't take advantage of that open gap. Maybe she was trying to grab the outside arm of Johnny Taylor.
Anai debuted against Omaha. As Looper comes flying in out of the back row, impressive swing. This is the third match for Anai with Vegas. She has double-double kills in the first two. George Padgett, the head coach for the Indy Ignite, an expansion team. So the first year as head coach for Coach Padgett, who is a 9-time Division II NCAA champion at Concordia in Minnesota. Tip kill for Katie Baird, who has huge range. She scores in a variety of ways.
She absolutely does, and she affects every facet. I said in the open of the game, she has so much ball control and then a lot of tools offensively, so she's difficult to stop.
Pass to attack for Charity Looper. Troll reads the dump. On the outside, an impressive swing from Anna DeBeer.
Anna DeBeer's strength is all of her power, and then when you combine that with her range, when she's seeing the block, seeing the defense, and then swinging with all that power, she's really difficult to defend. Watch her get up nice and high and then contact that ball at its highest point.
On the overpass, Cece Crawford, a couple of stars recently in the NCAA. Cece Crawford, the elite middle for Wisconsin, and Anna DeBeer, the former ACC Player of the Year for Louisville. They're rocking it here in Indy. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku channel. Indy 8, Vegas 3 in this best 3 out of 5 match. Early on, the first set, technical timeout at 8 points. AJ Cannell, Madison Fitzpatrick. Charity Looper gets a big piece of the block there. Back row for Baird. She's really good on those bips as well. Baird just brings so much to the Ignite.
She does a good job at identifying the block through middle back. It's a little bit of a higher set, but she contacts it at a high point. And kudos to the block for slowing down that attack, allowing their team to transition and get the kill.
Slide kill, Berkeley Oblad. She'd been in a prolonged offensive slump, but broke out of it, hitting 600 in their loss against Columbus.
Exactly, and this is going to be an important aspect of the Thrills game. They need to stay in system, get that pass up to the setter so they can run through Berkeley.
Very good serve. Looper takes it down the line and scores for Vegas.
Charity Looper's vertical is one of the most fun things to watch. When you think she's at the peak of her vertical, she just continues to rise up. And then with all of that range, crossbody swing down the line, painting that sideline.
The two stars for Louisville on the outside going up against each other now in their rookie season. DeBeer, the other star, misses that one. And both something that they have in common right now. We've had each head coach for each team acknowledge to us that after the long NCAA season, that Looper for Vegas and DeBeer for Indy, that realistically, they're not 100% at this moment in time. Probably will be much different players next year after the full off season as Van Buskirk sprays one out of play on the slide.
Most definitely. They did not have much time to regroup, to have a little bit of off time. You know, they took their team to a national championship final. They played at the highest collegiate level, got drafted, and then immediately came into Pro Volleyball Federation.
a rare bad pass by Anai. Couple of times, Stroll has read that second over from Hilly, but then Anai has a hitting error. Rough point for Adora Anai there. And Indy all over Vegas in the first set. The Thrill have been in a rut since February. February 7th was the date. They were 7-2, then lost 12 out of their last 13. It's just, put it this way, they won 8 times last season. They finished tied for last in the league. They had a chance conceivably to surpass 8 victories this year months ago. Right now they're still at 8 wins, looking to surpass last year's total. It's hard to know at times what to make of a team that starts 7-2, and since then they are 1-12.
I know it is really difficult, and they've been messing around with the lineup. They have a lot of depth, so they've been trying to find a consistent lineup that works. However, just the pieces aren't totally clicking this late into the season. I mean, they're coming off being swept by the Fury and getting outblocked 3-10. I would say that the blocking aspect of their game is another one that's maybe contributed to this downward slide. They're getting outblocked. They're having trouble slowing down teams' opposing offense. They're most definitely in it. We watched them take a set off of Omaha just a couple of days ago, so they have streaks of greatness where they can put it all together. But now it's about stringing that consistency along for an entirety of a match.
That was the most competitive match they played recently, ironically, against first place Omaha. Cameron Hanna close to a kill, but Katie Baird makes the hustle play. George Padgett wanted a double contact there, but great hustle from Vegas as well, and De Beer says that's enough.
That's Nana De Beer. That looks like she's playing like she was at Louisville. One of the top outsides in the country. She's back. She's got so much power, and it's the grittiness also of this Indy Ignite team that gives them a chance to set up their outsides in transition.
Childress takes matters into her own hands. Alicia Childress, known as Alicia Glass at Penn State, married to the former star basketball player Josh Childress. He was a star at Stanford. She a former assistant coach for Stanford a few years ago. Won a national championship in
Good vision by Sydney Hilly. It's a one-on-one situation. Childress did a good job of getting Looper in a one-on-one, but Hilly with that wonderful read dove her arms into the open seam and shut off that angle. Yep, watch the diving of the arms and finishing back to the ground with her hands.
Ajani Sealer, one of the most productive right sides in the league. A little tight on the touch by Scott. A rare mishap from Elena Scott, who is coming off a career-high 29 dig match against Grand Rapids. Looper taking care of that point.
Coach George Padgett told us Elena Scott is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, and I think that was a perfect way to describe Scott.
Well, this is just a total Louisville reunion, a couple of hours away from the site of the Final Four in the KFC Yum Center. De Beer subbing out right now. Looper on the Vegas side, and of course Elena Scott at libero for Indy. Kylie Murr comes in as a defensive specialist. She was the libero earlier in the year. Hilly digs Van Busker. Baird sends it back toward Hannah. An impressive dig as well with one hand by Hilly during that point.
That's something that you just can't teach. That's athleticism. That is a know-how of volleyball. The ball control, the quick twitch to dig that up, and then the block in transition, so solid and technically sound.
That's some good defense from Katie Baird so far. Off blocker defense on this point. Out of system, Anai. Read well by Scott. Back set for Teeler. Right through the block, but Looper excellent in the backcourt. Overhead dig by Scott. Good out of system set. Heading towards Teeler. A joust in the middle. Teeler's got to load up again. Gets a break by clipping the tape. Indy is ahead in the point. Bad touch by Murr. That was a shocking end to that point. Looked like Indy had fought their way towards victory within the point, but Anai ends up collecting the easy change.
And throughout that point, you saw how many sets Taylor got. It was 3 or 4. She gets a majority of these transition sets, and she's able to take care of it usually.
Excellent pass by Scott, and Lydia Martin deposits from the middle. Timeout at 16 points. Well, despite that marathon point win from Vegas, Indy is up by 7 in the first set. Volleyball fans, Lee's Family Forum just outside Las Vegas will host the second Pro Volleyball Federation Championship on May 9 and 11. The top 4 PVF teams will face off for the opportunity to earn a cool $1 million prize. All session tickets, which give access to all 3 matches, start at just $49 and are on sale now at provolleyball.com/tickets.
Will it be Atlanta, who's on a 10-match winning streak? Will it be Omaha, who's defending their title? And then we have 2 open spots left for either Indy, Orlando, Grand Rapids. I mean, you name it, everyone is in it. No one has been eliminated yet, but it's a match for $1 million, and everyone is trying to get to that playoff spot.
No, because of tie-breaking scenarios, where the first tiebreaker actually is not head-to-head, it's points, and you win 3 points for winning a set in winning a match in less than 5 sets. You get 2 points for your team in the standings if you win a match in 5 sets. You get 1 point if you lose a match in 5 sets. Keeler sets up the wall against an eye.
Johnny Taylor is physical on the block. Her timing is there. Her technique is there. She's pressing, pointing those palms back to 6. CeCe Crawford holding with Berkeley Oblad, jumped with her. That's the point of that route, but good for Taylor to hold strong.
And a free chance coming Indy's way. Taylor punches it toward the floor. Vegas scrambles it up. Hilly right back to Taylor, and it looked like she missed that one. She did. Trying to hit line there from the right side to finish the thought. Because of that, the points situation is a tie-breaking mechanism, not the primary mechanism of the standings. Because of those points, Vegas doesn't have a lot of them right now. They need to win every match the rest of the way in fewer than 5 sets and get a lot of help. So unlikely, but first things first, Vegas has to win tonight in less than 5, or they will be eliminated. So worth keeping that in mind. Coming in as the substitute, Carly Graham, dub sub for Vegas. Her serve nets an overpass.
Because this Indy Ignite team is so offensive, you have to be really strong behind the service line, apply a lot of pressure to try and limit the offense. Really well done. Aired a little too short on that one.
Jardine from the middle. She'll switch back over to the right side to set up this block. One-handed save by Graham. Indy's been getting a big piece on a lot of these Vegas hitters. They've been all over the place, all the way across the net against Vegas.
And one of the reasons why Indy is such a solid blocking team is because all of these girls are extremely quick laterally. They move very fast side to side. This is a very athletic, well-rounded team. I mean, look at CeCe Crawford coming all the way from the left pin to the right pin so quickly to close that block.
And already a 3-0 advantage for Indy in stuff blocks. I'll make it 4 actually, updated after that last point. Well, Indy offensively this season, they're first in a number of important categories. Kills per set, kill percentage, which is simply hitting percentage that doesn't factor in errors. Points per set as well, which is all encompassing with aces and blocks. And assists per set. Sydney Hilly, nobody better at this level. When you think about Indy offensively, there are a lot of pieces, but you do have to start with number 2, Sydney Hilly.
Absolutely, and I read a quote from Coach Padgett recently. He said about Sydney Hilly, it never has to look flashy, it never has to look spectacular, but it's so efficient and so methodical that she just cuts you apart. And from a coaching perspective, you can't quantify what that means. So, I mean, she has the intangibles, she also has the gameplay on the court. She's a leader, she's the defending play MVP of the championship last season. So she just has all of these things and the experience that she's bringing into this team, and you can't quantify that.
Coach Pageant also has told us about how he began coaching Sydney Hilly in club volleyball. Hilly is from Minnesota, just like Coach Pageant, and he said that after watching her warm up for about 10 minutes at 13 years old, he knew that she was special.
He could tell right away that she has exactly what it takes to be a star. He saw something in her. And look at CeCe Crawford manning the net, controlling that overpass. Good serve by Taylor.
There was a net violation on that point against the Indy Ignite. Well, a recurring issue for Vegas this season that I'm sure their fans who have been watching recently are probably sick of us bringing up. I won't even lump you into it, sick of me bringing up. But Vegas on the verge of being 2-21 in first sets this season. If this sticks according to the current path, they will have lost 14 straight first sets. That's another mind-boggling one. As Looper finds the floor. I mean, it's in a way that's almost more shocking than the fact that they've lost 12 out of 13 matches.
I absolutely would agree that it is more shocking. They just haven't really been able to come out strong and quick. Other teams are getting a jump on them from the beginning, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's contributing at least to only winning 1 out of the past 13.
It's a slide kill for CeCe Crawford.
Coach George Pageant told me at the beginning of the season that CeCe ran a lot in front, the gaps, the threes at Wisconsin. So this is one area of their game that they were working on with her, was that slide attack.
And she has the athletic profile to be very good at that type of attack going around the setter. Lane Van Buskirk was on the practice squad recently, was a starter last year for Vegas in the middle, and she arguably is their best blocking middle. At least that's what the numbers say. Lane Van Buskirk got a pit.
For sure, and she's coming off of 4 kills on 7 attempts, hitting .429, so she didn't get set that much, but when she did, she was efficient with it.
Left hand, Lydia Martin finding different ways to do it.
One of the reasons why I think Lydia Martin is able to surge onto the scene like she has so recently is because Coach said it's not like college where you have months of an off season to gain that connection with your setter, so now they're finding their rhythm because they have those reps.
Tight pass. And Ramon Hernandez-Cruz is arguing the call, and the officiating crew acknowledges that that was an inadvertent whistle. Landry Homsher is the R1. Put the thumbs up sign like you'd see a jump ball in basketball, the same signal. And that just means a let point. So he made what he realized to be, as soon as he blew the whistle, the incorrect call. And so just do this point over. Hilly the server. Lauren Jardine checked in midway through the set. Off the block and down for Katie Baird, 2-time All-American second team at Stanford.
And it starts with a beautiful dig by Elena Scott. She's in the right position. Her platform is angled perfectly to keep her team in system.
Baird is a native of Indianapolis, gets to come back home and play. Earlier this season, Baird was playing in Turkey. This is her rookie professional year. Gets to finish off that year playing for the hometown team. A decorated college player at Stanford, All-American and national champion, 3-time Pac-12 champion. As Looper sends it toward Baird. Looper rolls it. DeBeer plays it on the gap set from Martin. Graham surveys the defense and finds an eye. Diving play, DeBeer, her head was hit during the point on the dive by Taylor. And facing the net, Graham sets Van Buskirk. The block was discombobulated because DeBeer got shaken up, and she is holding her ear right now after the point. Great play offensively by Vegas in the meantime. It looks like DeBeer is all right, shaking things out a little bit on the other side.
DeBeer is a competitor. She got knocked up a little bit, but she sprinted to the outside right after that to get on the block. And it was 2 really good digs by her as the off blocker coming in to get the tip.
wondering if Vegas would challenge this on set point. Well, at this point, too late. You have 7 seconds after the point concludes to put in that challenge. Adora Anai upstairs with that swing, and Indy wins the first set 25-16. Well, I don't know what to make of it, because the team in this matchup so far this year that has won the second set has lost all 3 previous matches. So stay tuned for the second set. Well, 25-16, the Indy first set victory, and those numbers, those look like a set where one team won by 9.
Absolutely, and with the Ignite, all of their offensive pieces were extremely efficient, and then that's what contributed to that 290. Baird went 3 for 7. Crawford 3 for 3. She was perfect on the attack. Martin 3 for 4, hitting 750. What that also tells me is that the Indy Ignite is running their offense through their middles, and they're in system. So Elena Scott and the rest of the defense doing a good job at setting up their offense for success.
Meanwhile, for Vegas, Adora Anai had a difficult first set, a storyline to watch. Anai had 1 kill on 13 swings. She made 7 attack errors. She was blocked twice and hit 5 balls out of bounds. In one set, 1 player to have 7 attack errors. That's I'm almost speechless. That's a lot. So we'll see if she can rebound from that. You know, for context, a team, maybe you'd want to average somewhere around 4.5 or 5 errors per set. So we know Anai coming in is a crucial veteran addition. She was claimed off waivers from Orlando on April 1st, and it's had a couple of good matches so far for Vegas. Struggling through one set, they're going to stick with her for now. Katie Baird with the kill. Hannah Maddox has come in for Charity Looper, and Carly Graham starts out the second set for Childress and connects there on a setter double.
When you run a 5-1, you yourself as the setter have to be an offensive weapon when you're in the front row, because you want to pressure the block. You want to make the block respect you, so really well done.
Van Buskirk has had a few balls that she's been able to put away. Now 3 for 6 with no errors.
Van Buskirk has a really high reach, and she doesn't let the ball drop. She contacts it at its peak and then has really good court vision to put that away.
Back-to-back all ACC first team during her days at Pittsburgh. Push to Hannah Maddox. And Indy was in the net, so Vegas scores. Well, I said that going into the break, a weird fact, these teams have met 3 times this season. Indy is 2-1, but the team that has won the second set has lost all 3 meetings. So that's an odd one. CeCe Crawford scores right there for Indy. Another weird one in this matchup so far, you can go ahead and include that first set that we just saw. 14 sets played between these two teams. 11 of those 14, a team has won by 6 points or more. So there haven't been a lot of close sets between Indy and Vegas. Lauren Jardine with a point score.
And if you're Vegas, you have to be happy with the way that you've adjusted. You've come out, they're playing aggressive, they're limiting their errors so far, and that was a beautiful swing by Jardine, cross body to the angle.
Vegas looking different to start the second set. Jardine on the right side with the block.
Super invasive arms by Jardine. She's so high over the net. She's got a solid press, and then watch her turn her palms into the court, push that ball back down.
She played collegially at Wisconsin as well as Utah to close out her career, and all the way across the net on the other side, a block for Vegas.
One thing I've noticed about Vegas is when their block heats up and they get into a rhythm and they're reading the sets and they're making the quick moves, it has the ability to trickle down to the rest of their game and take them very far.
Maddox leads the team in blocks as Jardine gets another one. 3 straight stuff blocks.
It's not like Sydney Hilly is setting the same person over and over again, too. She's doing a good job at mixing up the offense. They're running a lot of routes. You've got CeCe Crawford on the slide, Teeler on the D-ball, but the block for Vegas is locked in.
Shoved through by Katie Baird to end that 5-1 run. Hannah Maddox, I was going to say, leads the team in total blocks, which is impressive for her. blocks per set. Van Buskirk leads with .68. Baird to serve. And Jardine on the left side. So she's a rookie. Oftentimes this year, a double sub player, Lauren Jardine, but she is capable of going off. And she's helping Vegas get out quickly in the second set. Vegas Thrill lead the Indy Ignite 8-3 in the second set. Indy took the first set handily. Earlier this week, the Pro Volleyball Federation Player of the Week was revealed. Atlanta libero Morgan Hens.
Morgan Hens is absolutely incredible. She extended her PVF for most digs in a single season. That record to 433. She has over 400 digs on the season. She's got 10 matches with over 20 digs. I mean, time in and time out, she is making these grand saves. They're so beautiful. She comes out of nowhere. She's so quick. And then she also does all of the little things right as well. She's really solid in serve, receive, and her out-of-system setting is good. I mean, I could not say enough positive things about the Morgan Hens.
Also impressive from the league's perspective. Week 14 of the season, 14 different players of the week in 14 opportunities. The hitting numbers have flipped here in the second set, although Indy pulls back closer 8-4.
Lauren Jardine has been really impressive in this second set. You can tell that she fires her team up. She's an emotional spark plug for this team, and they've been reacting well to her being on the court.
Jardine won a national championship at Wisconsin in her only year there, was a bench player in 2021, had a much bigger role eventually with Utah.
It was a good pass by Adora Knight. She's really good at taking that ball high hands on the pass. She opens her hands up, nice clean pass to the setter, but either the set wasn't perfect or she was trying to recycle it back maybe, give her team a chance in transition.
Here's Jardine with a high swing, and they thought they'd won the point. They do. Indy was trying to keep that up, but Lauren Jardine has come out and changed the dynamic in the second set. Now 3 for 6 with 2 blocks.
Watch her get up over the block. She contacts that ball so high, and it's almost like a full body snap with that momentum she brings.
Higher swing by Teeler. That is off the back line. Some separation for Vegas. The Thrill were outblocked 4-0 in the first set. They are outblocking Indy 3-1 in the second set.
A rare stat for Johnny Teeler, 0 kills on 10 attempts, hitting in the negative right now.
Lydia Martin with the kill. Yeah, Teeler has been great all season. She is 3rd in the entire league in total kills and points scored, and has had a history against Vegas this year as well. A 14-kill match-high performance with 10 digs in their most recent match in Henderson, and also had a 17-kill, 14-dig performance in Indy, a win here on February 27th for the Ignite. Berkeley Oblak kicks it from the middle to the middle.
See Hannah Maddox get targeted a lot on serve receive. That is a large load that she has to carry because she's hitting from the outside, so you get a lot of balls and you're getting targeted in serve receive. But that was a solid pass by her, which allowed Las Vegas to set their middle.
Jardine got there. Indy didn't think so. De Beer stacks it down to the floor.
It's the power with which De Beer swings. She's so strong out there on the outside, very confident. As she gets back in, she becomes more of herself. She's taking these big, brave rips, and we're reminded of the Anna De Beer in college. She is back and beautifully placed in that corner.
Off the miss serve, De Beer's numbers now 3 for 6 with 1 error. Also has 3 digs. And has some spring in that jump, it looks like, today. You know, something to watch. We've been told, they've been candid about it, as mentioned before, that DeBeer still working her way back from that ankle injury suffered in the NCAA tournament in the Final Four, and it'll be nice when she has that full offseason to recover. But looking good today. Mary Schroll making a nice play. Hilly to Baird. And I couldn't dig that one, so Baird sends that to the court. Indy is right back in this second set.
Baird did a good job with patience there, waiting on her approach, nice high set, and then using her momentum and her explosiveness to swing through the ball.
Good pass by Adora Anai. Flying in. They like to send those right side hitters occasionally in on the pick. This time Jardine.
It's a nice quick back or set to the back row, so she's able to speed up into it and then identify the hands of CeCe Crawford. Crossbody swing away with all that power.
Oblad reads it, has a dig. Jardine attacking from the right side. Elena Scott, Superwoman dive, and Baird pays it off.
It's not just the dig from Elena Scott, it's the dig and then how she's able to angle her platform to keep her team in system. She's not just popping this ball up wherever she digs it. No, she's angling it back, all the way back to Sydney Hilly, who then can run her full offense with all three of her weapons.
All digs are not created equally. Lane Van Buskirk, who laid the groundwork for this run of success more recently at Pittsburgh. She left just before the team began that streak of 4 straight Final Fours.
That was Van Buskirk's second kill on 2 attempts in this set, so a perfect set by her so far.
She is from Windsor, Ontario. Troll picks it up. Here's Maddox out of system. Kylie Murr hit the deck for that one. Swing in the middle for Crawford. Graham pushes back to Maddox. Gets that one around the block and down.
Maddox has a whip of an arm swing, and one of her strengths is swinging at that sharp seam. It's not high off of the hand. She's getting on top of it and putting it down sharp into that seam. And with that fast arm swing, it's difficult to block.
After hitting negative in the first set, Vegas 538 in the second set. Up by 4. Up by 5. Lane Van Buskirk making some noise in her re-entry to the starting lineup. 16-11. The Thrill take it to the 16-point timeout with a big block from Lane Van Buskirk. The Ontario native showing what she can do. It is a Thursday night, April 17th in Indianapolis. More specifically in Fishers, Indiana, a suburb of Indianapolis. For that young fan in tie-dye enjoying the action, Vegas leading Indy 16-11. They referenced a couple times the series between these two teams. It's been interesting. Some of the past matches. On January 31st in Henderson, Vegas won a marathon match, coming back with their 3rd reverse sweep of the season, winning 3-2 in that one. Indy is taking control, winning in 4 sets in a couple of the more recent matches. But they've all been competitive between these two teams. Hilly with a lower set, quicker set to Baird. Jardine has to work her way toward that back set. Good first ball contact by Anai. Mary Schroll sets Jardine, covered nicely by Carly Graham. Maybe the longest point of the night. Schroll digs Baird. Here is Jardine loading up. Gets it over the block, dug by Murr. Crawford in the middle is met by Van Buskirk.
We see this time and time again throughout this season is the length of these rallies is absolutely incredible. Both of the liberos, especially Mary Schroll, in that rally, phenomenal defense by her. And then it only makes sense that a block defense wins the point. Now these teams are tied, 5 blocks to 5 blocks. The Vegas Thrill has most definitely amped up that area of their game.
Credit Van Buskirk staying ready. Again, she was relegated to the practice squad earlier this season after being a starter last year. entered in the second set against Columbus last time out and had 4 kills on 7 swings. They're taking a look at one of the fingers of Sydney Hilly. Those are important fingers.
One would argue the most.
Gets a little tape job there. Vegas is turning this second set into a similar complexion as the first set, just in the other direction. And a Nye tacks on another. So good for Vegas to get her going after her documented offensive struggles through the first set. She was hitting -500 before that swing.
It was good by the block defense as well to read the tip on the slide, take something off of it, get the pass, and then it was a good step close by Adora Nye to get the kill.
Vegas up by 7. There it is, right down through the block.
Caitlin Baird is reliable. She is very steady. She is always there, always up in transition, ready to get the in system, out of system, no matter what it is.
Off the block and down, Hannah Maddox.
Hannah Maddox is really good at tooling the block because her arm swing is so quick. So when she gets a set that she likes and she's able to see the block with that whip of an arm and follow through to her hip, she's really difficult to stop.
Leads Vegas with 13 aces this season on that jump serve. And that was a good serve, but Van Buskirk used it up. Hilly was all over that read.
You can see the drive that Sydney Hilly has on her face. She turns, gets the block, shoves it straight down, and then looks at her team. Let's go. You can tell she is a leader. She wants to win this game. She is motivated to do so.
In addition to all the other things that Hilly gives a team, a lot of size in that block for a setter. Back row attack. That is up and out for Maddox. The timing wasn't quite there. Overall, though, credit Carly Graham coming in this second set. Alicia Childress is a legend. So it's tough to play behind her and stay in rhythm all the time as the backup setter on a team like Vegas. But Carly Graham showing what she is capable of, taking Childress's place in this second set. Miscommunication there as Graham wanted to play the second ball. Indy back within 4.
That's a Johnny Teelers, if I'm not mistaken, her first kill of the match. And that was one of the areas that Coach Amanda's crew said that they're going to hone in on Teeler, on blocking her and slowing her down.
That was one of his first keys he gave us for the match. It's almost like Graham felt like she had to put that over. She was a little out of position after the touch by Jardine just due to circumstance on that point. But Graham had the solution in that situation.
It was really good situational awareness and also pretty deceptive to get that ball to go down against such a gritty, scrappy defensive team, and Indy is hard.
It's a problem-solving setter right there. Overpass, a Nye kill. Vegas is running away here in the second set. Timeout, Indy.
Good service pressure from Vegas. They have just amplified, amped up every aspect of their game, whether it be the block. Way more blocks in this set, and block touches, and then the service pressure has really amped up, and they're getting Indians into some trouble on serve receive.
We got the Vegas Thrill up in the second set, trying to hang on and stay in the postseason mix. Volleyball fans, Lee's Family Forum in Vegas will host the second Pro Volleyball Federation Championship on May 9th and May 11th. The top 4 PVF teams will face off for the opportunity to earn a cool $1 million prize. All session tickets, which give access to all 3 matches, start at just $49 and are on sale now at provolleyball.com/tickets. Think about that. You get to enjoy Vegas, all session tickets for just $49 as a starting point. It's a heck of a deal.
That's something you most definitely are going to want to do, and it's going to be some of the most high-level volleyball in the United States you've ever seen. A match for $1 million. It's going to be so much fun. I personally cannot wait, and I think they picked a fantastic venue.
Well, something Vegas has done a really good job of in this second set is serve tougher. That was another one of Ramon Hernandez-Cruz keys coming in. Indy only a 15% perfect pass percentage within the second set.
And less hitting errors. The Thrill only has 1 hitting error, 3 in total, with 2 blocks in this set.
DeBeer hits it close court.
Anna DeBeer has one of the best game faces, the best competitor mode, zonal focused personalities and faces in the sport of volleyball. Watch her high above the block, avoiding the hands of Berkeley Oblad, swinging away.
Paintbrush kill, Oblad. That's the way the second set has gone for Vegas.
The lack of errors for Vegas has been really good, and they've really amped up their efficiency in this set, hitting around 400 after that kill.
Jardine's had a great second set despite that service error. 4 kills for Jardine, 2 blocks coming in off the bench. Not going away quite yet. They have been hanging around. And Anna DeBeer as capable of as anyone of going on a service run. And they'll get a chance here. Hilly to Martin, strikes it down. It's a 3-point differential now.
Good opportunity for the Ignite to capitalize in transition and get that kill. Run through their most efficient player. That's where Sydney Hilly is best, is her decision-making so elite and impressive. Running through Martin, who contacted the ball so high. It's almost like a slam dunk. Driving through the ball at the tip, avoiding the hands of the block, and getting her team within 3.
Martin is #1 in the entire league in kill percentage. 48.6% of her opportunities, the ball is finding the court. Lydia Martin, who, just an example of the talent spread out across the league. She was a player that as recently as February, mid-February, for perspective, you're already a month into the season at that point. She was moved down to the practice squad. And I had a match here with Holly McPeak on February 27th. That was actually Indy hosting Vegas. And Martin had a really good performance. And at that point, it was like, wow, who is this? Because she had just been recently on the practice squad. All of a sudden, she's one of the top middles in the league. If you look at the next couple of ensuing months since then. There have been a few stories like that this year across the league.
Absolutely, and she's a first-year pro, and she's taking advantage of the opportunity. She knows what this is to play on this court, to have the opportunity to be a starter, and she took full advantage and came out really confident and aggressive.
I was thinking of another example, Reagan Pittman. He's another example for Grand Rapids of someone that, as you take a look back at the block, she was on the practice squad earlier in the season, now one of the leaders in the league in blocks. There's a few of those. If you look around the league, as Jardine gets Vegas back on the right track.
Big time in the red zone. Coach Hernandez-Cruz says their passes start to break down whenever they get towards that 25 number. So he wants to see them keep passing in system.
Pittman for San Diego. Here's Martin. This has the makings of a competitive red zone. Something Ramon Hernandez-Cruz said coming in. They had to make sure they pushed to the finish line. That's been an issue this season for Vegas, operating when both teams have at least 20 points. Can they finish? Huge swing by Jardine, full extension there, but DeBeer digs. She goes soft. Hilly has options. It's Baird ripping it right at Schroll. Graham to Maddox in transition. It's right back down. Indy back within one.
We have got ourselves a game. One of the aspects of this Ignite team is that they do not let up. Their foot gets put on that gas pedal when they start the game, and they do not stop. No matter how far of a lead the opposing team gets, they are just going to chip away at you and wear you down. Ajani Taylor is a phenomenal blocker. She's the highest, as far as numbers and stats are concerned, the highest non-middle blocker in the league. She's got 46 blocks total. All the ones above her are middles.
Doing that at just 5'10", but just great technique, great reach for Taylor. Dub sub for Vegas. Childress and Hannah are in. Katie Baird ties it over 23.
Katie Baird just did a really good job of getting her feet to the ball. That set was inside, but she took a big first step on her approach, made sure to keep her feet underneath her, get her feet to the ball, and get the point.
7-1 run for Indy. Timeout Vegas. Well, Vegas coming in at 8-14, sixth in the standings. Indy at 12-10. The final team in the postseason, fourth place in the standings. The block counter is visible as well, but right now there's a significant gap between those teams in the top four, two of which have clinched, versus the rest of the league. The team with the most realistic chance to enter into that mix would be Grand Rapids. And so even there though, Madison, there is some space. Indy 3 games clear of Grand Rapids in the loss column. But Indy has lost 2 straight matches. They understand they have to get things back on track because Grand Rapids still has a chance to catch them.
And in order for Grand Rapids to get into that playoff contention, either the Valkyries or Indy have got to severely drop off, tack on some losses, and Grand Rapids has to be almost perfect from here on out.
The Ignite just lost to Grand Rapids in 5 and play Grand Rapids 2 days from now on Saturday on CBS Sports. Set point Indy coming all the way back. An 8-1 run.
We've seen Katie Baird score in a variety of ways. She's so versatile with her attack, and they're tooling the block high off the hands.
It was 22-16. Hit the block first, then the antenna. So as a part of the double sub, Cameron Hannah sends it to Deuce.
And that's what you want out of a double sub. You want them to come into the lineup, make an impact, tack on 1 or 2, 3 points here and there, change the energy, maybe add to some momentum. That's what you want out of the dub sub.
15th set all time between these two teams. It's the first one that's ever gone to Deuce. Mentioned that a lot of their sets in this series previously have been blowouts one way or the other. Not this one. Excited here. Baird go-to for the Ignite.
Baird is an X-factor for this Indy Ignite team. Her serve receive is so technically sound and solid. Beautiful ball control, angling that platform to the setter, who's got all of her options open, and then she rewards Baird with the set because Baird's been very efficient in the set.
Vegas was using Looper as a service sub after she began the game at outside. Set point for the Ignite once again. Maddox has to hit off that pass. Confusion in the middle. Still gets back over. Childress feeds Van Busker. It is going out. And right back to a tie score, 25 apiece.
This is intense. This has got my heart pumping back and forth like this. Really good defensive plays. The offenses are playing very well. Right now, Indy Ignite hitting 270, so fairly efficient, and Vegas Thrill right there, 263. That's how tightly contested this is.
Both teams passing over 50% in system. Good job by Graham to keep it going, and by Jardine. Back set, Graham to Jardine, and that one actually rocketed back over, but hit out of play. So Vegas has set point.
That quick arm swing by Jardine was really well executed because there was a gap in the block. She was able to take advantage of that open seam. She had about a foot where the middle blocker wasn't all the way closed to that pin hitter, and she was able to take advantage.
Talk about that dynamic that I think it's the hidden battle that you don't always necessarily pay attention to if you're still learning the sport as a casual observer at deuce in a situation like this, because essentially if you're in the position that Vegas just was, what you need to do is you need to side out, which is easier to do, and then score on your own serve, which is more difficult to do, and then at some point score again on your own serve in order to win a set by 2 if you're at deuce like this.
It's an uphill battle for sure, but it's when this game is its most fun because there's so much pressure on each point. The key from an athlete's perspective is to not think about the outcome, to not think about, oh, I got to be the first team to get 2 points, I got to side out here and serve here. No, you have to break it down play by play and just focus on each point as it comes.
Katie Baird leading Indy, hitting .321 with 11 kills. Jardine leading Vegas with 6 kills at .294. Let's take a look at Baird, though, the rookie from Stanford.
Katie Baird has scored in just about every way possible. We've seen her with the tip. We've seen her out of the back row, avoiding the hands of the block. We've also seen her on defense be very aggressive and physical on that block. She brings so many different areas and strengths to this team, and she shows it in all 6 rotations.
Set point. No block contact. Indy's going to challenge. Indy is going to challenge. So we'll take
Indy
a breath.
Is challenging block touch.
Landry Homeshire is the R1. Zach McGright in charge of these replays with an assist from bolt 6. He is the R2. There is Zach McGright right there. In one of those situations, it's our first challenge of the match, but Indy has to challenge that. There's no reason not to. That being said, who knows? We'll have to take a look at the replay and see if there was a block touch. It doesn't look like it. The Vegas Thrill gave up a 6-point lead late in the set, but hold on to win at deuce, 27-25 over Indy, and even this match up at 1. Impressive second set performance from Vegas and from Lauren Jardine. She had a 6 for 17 second set, coming in as a substitute, hitting .294. Madison standing by.
All right, take us into your mindset. You have a lead in that set, and then they come back. What's the mindset that you have to, how do you have to talk to yourself when they're coming back and you still want to win that set?
I know that my team has confidence in us and what we know we can do. When they come back, all we have to do is stay our game plan and keep consistent with what we've been doing, and that's putting pressure on their passing. And so we just keep going after that, and if it still doesn't work, it doesn't mean we shy away from it. We just keep going forward and forward and forward.
What did your team do well in that second set that you want to see them take to the third?
We did really, really well communicating, which helped our offense spread out. So keeping our pins open and having really good defense behind them so we could go swing for the walls.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Indy won the first set by 9. Vegas staved off the Ignite comeback and won the second set 27-25. The Thrill have to win the third and the fourth. They have to win in fewer than 5 sets to avoid playoff elimination. Despite Vegas's struggles the second half of the season, when the Thrill have had positive moments and some impressive victories, it's been a credit to their depth and the ability to have players come in off the bench. Lauren Jardine did not start today, has not started most of the season. Came in as a dub sub in the first set, then started the second set and was fantastic.
And it's even more than these stats, which are still so impressive, but she provides the spark. She's really motivated and energized, and sometimes you just need a new hitter into the game to kind of amp up the energy, to get the team going, and she definitely put the team on her back and really stepped up when it mattered.
Indy won the first set by 9. Vegas took the second set at deuce. It's all even. Coming up with the third shortly. All even at 1. Best 3 out of 5. Indy Ignite, final team in the postseason, looking to solidify their positioning. Vegas has to win in fewer than 5 sets to avoid elimination. One thing you do notice, though, here in Indy, you just saw those young fans waving back and forth. It's a family affair always in the Fishers Event Center. Top performers in this one. Van Buskirk got the start for the first time in a long time. 5 kills in most of that production coming in the second set, hitting 625 overall, along with we talked about Jardine. Katie Baird leads all attackers with 11 kills. Lydia Martin. We've been talking a lot more about Van Buskirk because that's been something new tonight, but Lydia Martin has been playing really well for a while for Indy. Hitting 6 for 7. No errors. Hannah Maddox. Opening attack for Vegas, starting out the third set. Now Teeler is blocked, and that was Hannah Maddox on the left side.
Hannah Maddox is leading her team in blocks, and it's because she gets up really high. She makes good reads. She's very technically sound with the angles of her arms. But the Thrill's done a really good job at slowing down Ajani Teeler. Only 1 kill for her on the night so far.
Lydia Martin came close, but Vegas kept it up, and then Van Buskirk brought it down. It's been those two battling in the middle. Now each of them, Van Buskirk and Martin, have 6 kills respectively. Graham turns right back and looks at Teeler and says, "You're good, don't worry about it." And they shake hands under the net.
Carly Graham and Ajani Teeler played for the Valkyries last season, so they were teammates last season, and you can tell they're really good friends.
Now Graham feeding Jardine, the star of the second set.
Jardine is just as confident on that D-ball as she is in the front row, really driving through the ball there, grabbing the top of the fingertips of the block. Nice follow through on her swing.
Scott uses her hands to set Teeler. Katie Baird is down. Katie Baird has been going for it for Indy. 12 kills, hitting around 300. I'm curious though, Ajani Teeler right now 2 kills, 4 times blocked. We've been touching on this a little bit. What is Vegas doing, in your opinion, to slow down Teeler as much as any team we've seen this year? Another one for Van Buskirk.
Well, Hernandez Cruz says it really just is about emphasizing the block and being expectant on the block. So when you see that set go her way, there is no hesitation in your mind. You are getting there, and you have to focus really hard on finishing the block. You can't throw your arms up in the air and not press or be as technically sound as you can be because she's so good at tooling. So they just have been very, very disciplined in emphasizing her.
Ace serve for Hannah Maddox. Her team best 14th of the season.
Hannah Maddox has a nice jump topspin. It's coming at you really quickly. There's a lot of power behind it, and the reason why the jump topspin is so difficult to pass is because it's diving at the last second.
Excellent hustle by Jardine. Graham came close to launching that back over the net. Even on that point that Vegas lost, you can see the Thrill have a pep in their step.
Absolutely. It's all about giving your just utmost energy, your utmost effort every single time you're out there on the court, and the Thrill is doing it. You can tell they are very motivated to get this win, very scrappy.
Well, they know they're hosting the semifinals and championship. They don't want to be out of the mix. They want to be able to play in the postseason in their home gym. That being Vegas. Nice serve by Van Buskirk. Lane Van Buskirk's 4th ace of the year. Timeout. Third set starting off just like the second set did. And Indy trailing by 4. That technical timeout coming up in a point. But George Padgett had seen enough at 7-3.
I like it. Take a beat, reset. You started out a little cold. Vegas obviously is using the momentum that they had in that second set and carrying it into this one. They've been really good with the service pressure, so maybe here trying to ice the server and talk to his team a little bit.
You know, the dynamic as well with Teeler, who you're looking at in the middle of the screen. Now Ramon Hernandez-Cruz on the other side. But for Teeler, Indy has a lot of depth on the outside, but they are missing Lecator member Mena, who is an MVP candidate, leading the team in kills and point scoring when she went down with a leg injury somewhere around a month ago at this point. So Lecator member Mena is in the building right now, but it becomes a little bit harder to balance out the net there. There's more of a gravitational force on Teeler's side with the MVP candidate and member Mena out.
Absolutely, and that's why George Pageant brought in Katie Baird, and they have so much depth on that outside position because they do have a next man up kind of mentality, and those outsides have stepped up.
Punched down the line by Anna DeBeer.
Anna DeBeer has a whole lot of range, and she can play with it depending on where the block is set up. Watch the block a little bit inside. Jardine kind of fading to that line, but not there all the way, and Anna DeBeer took advantage.
They told us coming in that they moved DeBeer back into the starting lineup. Carly Scott had been getting the nod recently. Hilly dives and saves it. But Lydia Martin was on the wrong side of the antenna. They feel like it was fair to give the extra opportunity to DeBeer because when she comes in off the bench, it's more difficult for that ankle. It gets cold. DeBeer is 5 for 10. Timeout. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. From the site of the inaugural Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star match, and I would wager that there will be a soon-to-be championship at some date in the next few years that is hosted here as well in Indy. It is the Fishers Event Center. It is Vegas at Indy for the 4th time this season. How about the chess match that occurs when you have a team facing another team for 4 times in a season, as everyone does across the league in this 8-team Pro Volleyball Federation. Carly Graham, back row for Hannah Maddox, but tell us your thoughts on that dynamic with such familiarity between these two teams.
Well, I think that it honestly gives Vegas Thrill an advantage because they are mixing up their rotation so much, because they have so much depth. This is a whole different Vegas team, especially with the addition of Adora Anai. So the Indy team is seeing this team for the first time.
Hitter coverage. Elena Scott dig. I wonder if Vegas was looking for an illegal contact during that point. Hernandez-Cruz goes right over to the official stand. Now Carly Graham comes over to have a conversation with Landry Homsher, the R1.
Yep, I believe that they are trying to call a Johnny Teeler on the lift. I see Hernandez-Cruz right now pointing to his chest and saying she took it from her chest to handset that ball.
Ramon Hernandez-Cruz got sent away from Landry Homsher. He went over to Zach McGright, the R2. Didn't like what he heard from one ref, went to the other one as Carly Graham answers back for Vegas.
Coach Hernandez-Cruz told us that Carly Graham gets the middles involved more, and not just the middles of the front row, also the back row, the pipe, the C, but they're taking advantage of the block, not being on her, not expecting it, getting the overpass.
Ace serve, Adora Anai, her 11th ace of the season. Vegas pulling out the right cards in set 2 and 3. This was a shocking turn. A Vegas team that had lost 12 of 13 coming in. Got blown out in the first set. Oblad with the rejection. It's 12-5 in the 3rd set after a big second set win for the Thrill.
That's Vegas' first block of this set. They're hitting 545 as a team. I said it before, but when one aspect of their game heats up, the rest follows.
Teeler puts an end to that and converts. Again, as Johnny Teeler had been hitting negative before that kill. In fact, she's still hitting negative after that kill. 3 kills, 4 errors, just gets a piece of the line.
And that's uncharacteristic of Taylor. She's had 19 matches this season with double-digit kills.
Credit the Thrill defensively. Carly Graham continues to score points. Graham, coming into the match, had only 3 kills from the hitting setter position on the season. And tonight, she's got 4 on 4 attempts. Legal back row touch. And Vegas continues to create separation. Taylor, at least that's a good sign for Indy. Oh, she missed it off the line. That was close, but off the line. The way Oblad, her reaction was, I thought that was going to be a point, but no, it was out. Now Indy is taking a look. And okay, the argument is Indy wanted to challenge the call that I think Oblad touched it, but Landry Homeshire saying too much time went by. You didn't challenge soon enough. You have 7 seconds once the point concludes to put a challenge in. So I think there was a reason why Oblad made that wincing reaction. She may have touched the ball.
Absolutely, and I think that is definitely what the situation is. So didn't have enough time, or too much time had passed. You can't call it then.
Did Oblad touch it? Hard to tell there. Oblad has to play setter there. Kylie Murr, the former member of the Thrill last year, lays out. Back set, Jardine. Tries to hit high. Vegas, a couple players calling for a touch. But a lot of separation right now. The differential is still at 8.
It's a beautiful up by Kylie Murr. That's one of the advantages of having a libero in middle back. So quick to dig that up.
Her as a defensive specialist now, with Scott taking over the starting libero job. Lauren Jardine keeps the production going. That's her 9th kill, and she is hitting around 300 with 4 digs and 2 blocks. That's going to take us to a timeout in the 3rd set. Jardine, a major producer coming off the bench. Vegas is heading towards a 3rd set victory. We talked about the Thrill keeping Taylor in check. They brought in some players off the bench in specifically the right sides who came in the dub sub. The right side of the court, the setter, and the opposite with Jardine and Carly Graham coming in and playing well. And Taylor's numbers on this season, very, very good. Tonight, not as good.
Block's being really disciplined against her. They're also doing a good job of getting their hands up quick over the net.
Thunderous swing by Katie Baird. And although Vegas was able to dig Baird, they were in the net.
The comeback's got to start now. Down by 8. Vegas is nearing the red zone. Now we're going to see Indy go with the dubs up.
Something they weren't doing earlier in the season very much. When you have a setter like Sydney Hilly, you usually want her out there, but George Pageant trying to mix up the energy here and there. This dub sub combination of Havili and Grace Wade came in the 5th set of their loss against Grand Rapids last time around, and certainly makes sense right now with the team struggling a little bit to bring them in. Grace Wade contributes right away. She played collegiately at Purdue. 2-time All-American for the Boilermakers. And Issei Havili played at Kansas, and for the Vegas Thrill last year as the backup setter behind Childress on the gap set, Van Buskirk.
Van Buskirk being a threat offensively really opens up their offense. They've got 3 attackers and an eye in the back row that can attack, so that puts a lot of pressure and stress on the block. There, Van Buskirk had a wide open net on that gap set.
straddle that attack line and keep her foot planted behind it as the libero to use her hands on the set, setting up Grace Wade for the kill.
I cannot speak highly enough of Elena Scott. Her out-of-system setting is so exact and precise, and that allowed for the kill.
Libero cannot use their hands in the front row. Picking up a little bit of steam with the dub sub.
Grace Wade is 6'3", and she uses all of that height to be really physical on the block. Watch her turn that right hand into the court, pushing back to area 6.
Played last year with Atlanta. It's Wade's second year in the PVF. Jardine picks out her spot correctly.
That was a really impressive swing. She got on top of it nicely, had a nice strong snap, and it's a different speed than her usual swings, not as deep, so it caught Elena Scott on her heels.
Van Buskirk already has an ace. And here's Wade to the floor. Wade coming in, making an instant impact.
Good follow through on the arm swing by Wade. Following through all the way through that ball, tooling off the hands of the block. You really have to finish your swing if you're going to tool off the hands of the block, and she did that really well.
Right down toward the middle for Jardine.
Jardine is extremely explosive, and the Ignite is having trouble getting the block set on her and closed. Watch this one-on-one situation, a little bit of gap in the block.
10 for 23, hitting 348. Jardine. Lydia Martin with the answer.
The Ignite is at their best when they are running through their middles when they're in system. Lydia Martin is so extremely efficient. She, more oftentimes than not, finds a way to finish the ball. Really impressive for a rookie to have that kind of confidence on the attack.
Here's Graham setting Jardine. Oh, huge swing. Indy was in the net anyway. Jardine showing off her leaping ability, that whip of an arm as well. An impressive arm swing, the whole package from Jardine athletically. Baird can hit that row as well.
Really has the ability to carry the offensive load that she needs to as an outside, and they run her through the back row, so they've got 4 offensive weapons on the court right now with Sydney Hilly in the back. Jardine really flies. She gets up so high, and even though the block is there and set, she can power through it with all that strength.
A lot of back row attacks right now. She's finding some more space that way. Jardine with an excellent dig against Martin and Indy. Nets again. There have been several net violations tonight, particularly on the Ignite. Jardine makes a defensive play. She's hitting 6 for 8 in this set.
She's been an X factor without a doubt.
Well, gotta imagine Indy, they've been a little better with the dub sub. Now, they've unwound that since, but that could be something they go to when they try and come back. Jardine! I mean, she started out with some kills on the right side. Naturally, that's her position, but they've been sending her in from the middle.
7 for 9, hitting 667. Carly Graham is making wonderful setting decisions right now, going for the hot hands because Indy is having trouble slowing down Jardine.
Vegas hitting 385 in the set. Taylor thought she got a piece, or at least claimed that momentarily, but no, that'll be a point for Vegas, and the Thrill have 9 set points. That's a positive pass by Crawford to deal with the kill.
We see this a lot in the Pro Volleyball Federation, is running through the back row. The back row is just as much of an offensive weapon and just as regularly set as the front row is, and it's a big part of all of these teams' offense.
Getting blocked a lot. There could be some more space back there. Lane Van Buskirk ends the set. Van Buskirk with her 4th kill of the set. And overall, she is 9 for 15, hitting over 500. A 180-degree turnaround for the Vegas Thrill after that blowout first set win. From Indy, this is the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. Vegas coming back, winning sets 2 and 3 after Indy took them down in set 1. Best out of 5, best 3 out of 5, and got a win by 2. 5th set would go to 15. Lauren Jardine and Lane Van Buskirk. Jardine came in off the bench. Van Buskirk, you can almost say the same thing. She did get the start today, but they haven't used her as a starter for a long time until today. So some lineup changes for Vegas paying off.
And this is an opposite and a middle that are really stepping up for the team. The outsides have been a little touch and go throughout the entirety of this match. 2 kills for Maddox, 4 for Looper, and 4 for Anai.
And how about Carly Graham? She only played in the first set as a part of the double sub. 30 assists through essentially 2 sets of work for Carly Graham. That has transformed the offense as well. A good reaction by Adora Anai. Now Sydney Hilly to Lydia Martin. Another Anai dig. Maddox twists that one cross court, and it winds up sailing right past George Pageant. And Vegas kicks off the first point of that set correctly.
Adora Anai is so solid defensively. She makes these quick twitch digs, is able to dig with her high hands, dig with her platform, control it nicely, keep the team in system, and get Maddox her 3rd kill.
Oblad building the roof against Martin.
Berkeley Oblad is very lengthy and physical, and she's an experienced middle blocker. So what that means is she makes really good reads, and she can see where the attacker is going to swing and dive her arms into that seam.
She is a Utah alum, just like Lauren Jardine on the Vegas side. Katie Baird, no. 3-0 Vegas. Vegas has lost 12 out of 13 matches, including 5 in a row. Anai goes short. Grace Wade starting this set. No! Another hitting error. It's 4-0.
We've seen the Thrill target Baird in serve receive. That was a good pass in system. But both teams kind of trading back and forth with the hitting errors. It was all the Thrill with those hitting errors in the first set. And right now, Indy's got it.
And a rare move from George Pageant. Taking out Sydney Hilly this early in a set with Baird finally getting Indy in the scoring column.
George Pageant is big on energy and vibes, for lack of better words. And he says that one of the reasons they do the double sub is because sometimes you need some momentum and energy shift. Not that this is one, but he's really big in putting different players in if you need something different.
That's good from Maddox. But it goes to show you how George Pageant is feeling about the way things are going right now. Get another look at the Maddox kill. Take out last year's Pro Volleyball Federation Finals MVP and the leader in the league in assists per set. She's the quarterback. The setter is the quarterback of the team. You take the setter out, you're putting in the backup quarterback, and that's how George Pageant feels right now. And Issei Havile is in. Both teams have their backups in. For Vegas, it worked. Carly Graham, I mentioned before that Havili played in the role that Graham is now, the backup setter behind Childress. Havili was playing that last year for Vegas. Graham to Van Buskirk. That connection is looking strong.
I love the quarterback metaphor because it's true. And just like a quarterback, you have to be able to trust your receivers, and you have to have that connection and the reps put out. You have to trust your routes. And it's just like that, setting the location of that for your hitters as well.
Already a season high in assists for Carly Graham as Katie Baird tips it down. Indy will have to come back here, albeit early, in the 4th set to extend this match to the 5th.
Katie Baird is consistent. She is steady. That was a really solid tip through the block. We've seen her score in a variety of ways.
That's a slam dunk by Van Buskirk. The Indy bench thinks that was an illegal contact, that she held onto it for too long. But that was not the call from Landry Homscher.
If you take it from behind your head and you hold it for a long time, it could be deemed a throw, a carry, what have you, but you deemed that one okay.
Oh, we had a meeting that we went over every single rule before the season with Devoney McClarty, who leads the officiating in this league, Hill for Baird, and she said that they're going to be pretty liberal as far as how they call that throw. You will not see it called very often. Short serve and a good one. That's a clean ace for CeCe Crawford.
That serve absolutely dropped. It was a float serve that just dipped at the last moment, dropped right in front of Hannah Maddox. And I like where she's serving, where she's targeting. That right side of the court has a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic.
Hammered off the top of the hands by Jardine. And that takes the fourth set to a technical timeout. Vegas 8, Indy 5. The Thrill up 2-1 in sets. A chance to clinch in the fourth. Indy won 2 of the previous 3 meetings, including the last 2 meetings. Vegas is ahead in this one, 2-1 in sets. Also leading in the fourth set, 8-5. Lane Van Buskirk serves it up. Coming off the timeout. Grace Wade is dug by Hannah Maddox. And Adora Anai started off ice cold. We talked about it. And getting a little bit better since that's still hitting negative, but has 9 digs and picking up her 5th kill.
That was a lot of patience by Adora Anai, waiting on her approach to drive through the ball, and then good placement. Not a lot of power, but the right placement.
Ramon Hernandez-Cruz sticking with her. A move that is paid off. Maddox on the pick. Vegas has just jumped in front each of the last 3 sets. Now, Indy came back in the second set. Vegas won at deuce. Indy didn't really come back in the 3rd set, and they're down big again in the 4th. Indy has lost the last 2 matches. A kill by Grace Wade. Do you see any concerns? Indy is a legitimate title contender right now in the playoffs, but what are you seeing that could be a concern looking towards, the battle for $1 million?
I think sometimes naturally, when you have a 28-game season, it is natural to get into a little bit of a rut. Indy hasn't really had theirs. They've been pretty consistent, winning at a high level throughout the season. They might just be in their rut here, struggling a little offensively the past couple of matches. I mean, their last match, they're coming off their lowest hitting efficiency in 147. So I just think it's the offense that's not clicking as much as it usually is. But that's the kind of thing that you can make up for and you can get back.
Well, the way their season had gone, they won 3 straight matches to begin their existence as a franchise. Then didn't have a stretch where they won more than 2 consecutively between January 18th and March 15th. So you're thinking, okay, when are they going to really find their rhythm? Then they won 4 straight from March 15th through the end of March. Okay, Indy has really found it. They have all the pieces. Hilly as a setter, Crawford and Martin in the middle, DeBeer, pick your poison next to her on the outside. Right now it's Baird. Well, since that 4-match winning streak, now they're on the verge of losing 3 in a row. So it's been a little bit inconsistent. When you look at the pieces, you know that the Ignite have the ability as much as any team in the league, but just a little bit back and forth this season. Kylie Murr taking charge right now in the huddle, trying to rally the troops. The upcoming schedule for Indy, that's going to be a big one, especially if they lose tonight. Grand Rapids is the closest team to Indy in the standings, and a chance to get really close if Indy loses tonight and then has trouble with Grand Rapids on Saturday, especially knowing that they have a couple of more matches against playoff teams in Orlando and Atlanta the rest of the way.
And an interesting component of this schedule is that you're going to play each team 4 times. So teams have made adjustments against Indy. They know who to emphasize the block on. They did a good job at slowing down Teeler. And just that strategy also can aid you in taking it down.
I think it's going to be interesting to see who they end up sticking with on the left side as well. They've had a rotating cast, especially with Lekator member Mene out for the season, the MVP candidate before her injury. De Beer converts, but Carly Scott is playing really well. Came almost out of nowhere from a defensive-only role to shine in some opportunities, now giving De Beer a chance today. She's played pretty well. Katie Baird's been a nice addition, but between those three and Nina Chayic, who they go with on the outside will be a decision for George Padgett. He said he's looking to find some continuity there. Adora Anai giving Vegas continuity on the outside.
That's Adora Anai's bread and butter. That is her favorite swing. It's a 4-to-4, so she's from that left side to the other left side, that front area of the court. She hits it so well. It takes a lot of precision to do that. You got to get on top of the ball.
Scoops that one on the slide. Oblad got a piece of the hands, and Berkeley Oblad with the kill.
Berkeley Oblad showing some speed. She really had to speed up to get there off of 1 foot. Did such a good job at driving through the ball, getting her feet there. And we didn't get to see it, but we saw it in real time. So quick to get that kill.
You just feel the energy and the life on the Vegas side. It's been so long since they've been in any type of rhythm like this. And they're loving life out there right now with a big lead, a chance to close out the match. Indy can ill afford too many more missed serves and missed chances to score on their serve. Down 7. And having to win this 4th set. That is airmailed there by Oblad, back to a 6-point difference.
It is a different look on the Thrills' face than what we've seen in the matches past when they are losing. They are confident, they are very driven, and they look very comfortable with this.
Nice low serve by Wade. Does not matter. Back to 7 points for the Thrill. And that takes this match into a technical timeout. Vegas keeping Indy at long arm's length. Graham scooping it off the net. Maddox to the ground. Well, the biggest thing early on, Vegas had been plagued by hitting errors in recent matches. That continued in the 1st set. Since then, the Thrill have cleaned it up.
And they brought on Jardine and Carly Graham, who have been they've had really good chemistry. They've looked very confident out there together. Graham is feeding Jardine in just the way that she wants, and I think that combo, also putting them in the game, has attributed to this.
And how about the Thrill with Carly Graham leading the way, hitting 11 for 14 in this 4th set. Katie Baird smashes it down, but Indy hitting around 100 in the set. Vegas hitting 11 for 14 with no errors as a team in the 4th set. Hey, turned into a good second ball, second touch from Van Buskirk. She was looking at Scholl for a second, who was going to take it, and Van Buskirk wound up with the assist to Maddox.
Now instead of 11 for 14, make it 12 for 15. As a team, hitting around 800. Those are insane numbers, and that's in transition and side out, so both facets of that game.
I was speechless early on some of the struggles. Just as jaw-dropping are those success numbers from Vegas in the 4th set. Here's Anai. A rare ball that doesn't hit the ground from Vegas in this set. Graham to Anai. De Beer goes slow, has to cover it. Havili sets behind for Baird. A good choice by Havili in transition. 20th kill for Baird.
22 points for Baird as well. So leading every attacker on the floor. Watch her drive through this ball, running a little bit behind the setter in the back row, swinging up and high over the block, dropping that thumb and swinging down the bottom.
began the season playing in Turkey. Her season there ended and continues her rookie professional season for the Ignite. So it's been Baird, her highest kill total early on with the Ignite with 20, and Lauren Jardine, a career high 15 kills for Vegas, but she is roofed right there.
That's a big time block. You could just tell from the way that Jardine came in with that approach. She wanted to rip it really sharp into that seam. Watch the snap on the ball, but no. Anna DeBeer dives her arms into that seam. Same with Martin.
Maddox tools the middle of the net right there and just blasts that one off the hands and out of play.
Anna Maddox is having a phenomenal set. That's her 6th kill on 8 attempts, no errors. I mean, just phenomenal. Talk about stepping up, coming into the lineup and making an impact.
And normally a starter for Vegas, stayed ready off the bench today. Indy, there's been a little change the last few points. Indy, they feel slightly emboldened. They still have a lot to make up. Still down by 5 with that kill from DeBeer.
Yeah, and we saw them go on a 7-point run in that second set, so it is 100% doable for the Ignite.
That's a good block touch. And to Martin. Schroll had it, but Vegas couldn't keep it up from there, so it's a 4-point difference.
What's so impressive about Martin's swing is that she has a whole lot of range, so she can hit it really sharp into those seams and hit it really sharp, or she can take something off of it, swing through the ball, and have that long stroke to the corners.
Anai is blocked. Indy making this closer.
Good block by Indy, reading that the door, and I didn't totally love that set. She had to reach for it, looked to tip it, so Indy with all that hang time hung in the air a little bit longer to get the block.
A reminder with Vegas in the building, Lee's Family Forum, just outside of Vegas and the home of the Thrill, will host the second Pro Volleyball Federation Championship on May 9th and 11th. The top 4 teams face off, the opportunity to earn a cool $1 million prize. All session tickets, which give access to all 3 matches, start at just $49 and are on sale now at provolleyball.com/tickets. Well, a helpful reminder at this stage that the Vegas Thrill have to win in 4 sets in order to extend their postseason hopes. So they have to close this set out in order to avoid elimination due to tiebreakers. The schedule after this for Vegas, back-to-back matches against San Diego and at Omaha and home against Orlando and Columbus.
Well, here's something interesting also about the Thrill is they've come in tonight and they have executed the game plan. Coach Hernandez Cruz gave us 3 keys. Hold on Taylor as much as we can because she's going to see a lot of sets. Check. They did a good job slowing her down. Pass better when we get to the red zone. Check. They've done that. Target Baird, which we have seen. So they have executed all 3 keys, and I think that's what's leading to them getting the win in this set so far, but let's see if Indy can come back.
Had to use timeout. Elena Scott doing what she does. Free ball. An imperfect sequence of touches there. So Scott backsets DeBeer. The 2 college teammates connected.
They run that set out of system quite often at Louisville. DeBeer takes advantage of it. Beautiful placement by Elena Scott. That's a comfortable connection.
Schroll gets there off the block. Butler shot before that kill. Where'd that come from?
Vegas is mid-rally challenging net touch.
You know what? It turned out to be great timing because it was going to be an Indy point no matter what.
Exactly. That was really good timing. And Carly, Graham, and Jardine were both very confident in the middle of that rally that there was a net touch. So let's see if it was true.
And so when there's an action during a rally that you want to challenge, you also have 7 seconds from the time that occurs to put that challenge in. And just so happened that was as DeBeer was all the way up in her swing but Vegas did challenge legally there. I would say most of the time when you're challenging something during the point, it would be a net touch. You might be a floor touch as well, would be the other popular option.
This is a big one too for the Thrill because Indy is coming back. Indy has all of the momentum. They are surging forward. So if the Thrill can get this point, that'll definitely be a sigh of relief to break the run that Indy's on.
It was 17-10. It's a 6-1 run right now for Indy. Players that perform hard tonight get a well-deserved chance just to relax for a minute. You can understand why it would take a little bit longer to, find the proper action during the point. Not only just decide whether the call was correct, but actually find that moment during the point to see where it is that Ramon Hernandez-Cruz wanted them to look for that net touch. So a couple of steps there, and both six in charge of the replay review. We will get the look. Here it is. That touch.
Not that I see.
Yeah.
No.
You can see the net ripple a little bit, but not from any contact.
I said it in the last set, you can never count the Ignite out. Their foot is on the gas pedal, and they are motivated no matter what the point disparity is.
Make it a 7-1 run. How does Vegas get unstuck from this rotation? Baird finds that dig to Beer, tough angle, but does locate the setter. Here is Schroll using hands. Jardine uncorks one. That's how you get out of it if you're Vegas. Go to Jardine.
And it's difficult to get a kill against Elena Scott, who's one of the top arrows in the league, but watch the line that's open for Jardine. Thumb down, swinging down the line, and it caught Elena Scott a little high. Didn't have as much downward trajectory as usual, and it's going to cause the Ignite to call timeout.
And just before the buzzer, or just before the serve, you heard the buzzer. George Padgett waiting until the last possible second to put that timeout in. And Jardine was getting ready to serve the ball. And at the last possible second before that play was blown in. Timeout Indy. No timeouts left for Indy. You see on the scoreboard graphic, 1 timeout left for Vegas.
George Padgett may be trying to ice the server. They're going to need a side out right here, and the easiest way to get the side out is for the opposing team to miss their serve. But he seems to be in good spirits, smiling over there as the team talks to themselves.
I think that's what he's going for most of the time, no matter what the situation is out there on the floor. Tries to be pretty steady, laid back, positive mentality. Say Ramon Hernandez-Cruz, a little more intense with his demeanor at times. Everyone has a different way. That's one of my favorite parts of being involved in this like we are, not only at this level, but the NCAA, just seeing everyone's a little bit different. Every coach has a different way to lead, and there's not one proper way to do it. Couple in a row for Vegas, back up by 3, looking to clinch this match in the 4th.
Good block touch by Vegas. This is an area of their game that they've really amped up in this match, slowing down the opposing attack, giving their team a chance to transition and get the kill.
Indy looking for a first ball side out. Havili, back row Baird. Look out. Jardine coming right towards us, was able to keep that ball in play.
That was such a well-executed swing by commentating. First of all, beautiful set, right into her hands. Nice little peek on the ball. It's a quick set right in front of the setter. But Martin, watch her see the hands of the block. She sees it so well. It's down her line, so she's going to swing cross body to get the kill away from the block.
Jardine, not there on the high swing. Indy 2 in a row, backward in 1.
Good pass by Adora Anai. I assume that Ignite was trying to target Hannah Maddox because Adora Anai has been really solid in serve receive. Jardine going for the high hand, just couldn't get the fingers.
There have been some big momentum swings in this set. Graham, Maddox. That is a back row attack. Foot on the line. A legal attack for Maddox.
You have to take off. You have to take off when you jump behind the line. If your foot is over the line before you jump, it's a back row attack violation.
This is the perfect angle to see it. Yep. Looks like foot on the line there. It's the right call from Landry Homcher. Vegas calls timeout. This fourth set is tied up at 20. What a roller coaster.
It really has been. It's been so back and forth. That's what's so much fun about the PVF. Vegas is ranked a little lower, and the Ignite ranked a little higher. It doesn't matter. We are seeing tightly contested battles every single night. And in this set, just looking at the numbers for a little bit, set 4, Katie Bair's been phenomenal. 5 kills, hitting 400. Anna DeBeer has really stepped up as well, finding some success. 4 kills, hitting 273. We've got Grace Wade making an impact, Lydia Martin making an impact. And those are the 4 that have killed so far. They're going to need to amp up the service pressure. They're going to need to keep the service pressure. And if you're the throw, you have to think about siding out because you do not want the Ignite to continue on with this run.
I would say the crowd is engaged. It's 2020. It's the red zone. Graham selects a 9 that is tucked inside the block and down. 21-20 Vegas.
This is why blocking is so hard, because you have to have every little aspect of your block on lock. If you're, let's say, a foot off the net, not pressed over the net enough, you're going to get tooled.
Havili to Baird, a 9 with the vacuum, but it is over Doug, back to Indy, and back to Baird.
Baird just finds ways to score. She has painted almost every single end line. She's gone for every zone on the court. Here, sensing the block and hitting over Carly Graham. She wins that matchup right there.
Indy was working on lower serves today in practice. Good low serve there. Block touch against Maddox. Dig from Lydia Martin, the middle playing back row. Excellent play by Hannah Maddox to keep the point going. Just a little bit of a mental error in the middle of that point from Vegas.
Definitely, and that's one of those errors that you do not want to have this late in the game. When it's this tight, you have to communicate early and go for the ball. You can't have slip-ups like that.
And now when you have a setter like either Alicia Childress for Vegas or Sydney Hilly for Indy, who have been on the bench for the majority of this set, a great option as a sub. This is a dub sub for Vegas. Cameron Hanna also in. Hannah Maddox. DeBeer gets there. To the delight of the crowd, Maddox going short. Smart selection. Lydia Martin made contact with it, but Hannah Maddox almost like a yo-yo during the point.
Really smart selection. I love that tool in her toolbox. She drives through the ball in her approach, looking like she's going to take that hard swing. She establishes that early, and then she can break out the tip when it calls for it. That set a little high, so she hung in the air to get the tip and the kill.
Looper is in to serve. Serves at Katie Baird. They've been going at her. Here is Wade. Hits it. A reminder, neither team has a timeout left in this set.
So we play through, and if you have the momentum, you're trying as hard as you can to keep it.
Looper began the match starting. Now a service sub. Scores 1 point. Serves right back to Baird. Match point for Vegas.
I love a good dub sub. I love when it works. Cameron Hanna is a really disciplined blocker. She's very invasive over the net. She's up there making an impact, getting 1 or 2 points, and one could argue that was one of the most important points of the match.
And a couple of players who competed against each other in the Pac-12. Looper has been serving right at Katie Baird. And Looper played for UCLA. Baird finally has the answer. Pass to attack to side out on match point.
Baird has pretty much been the offense for this Ignite team in this fourth set. That was her 8th kill. The next highest is 4 with Anna DeBeer, and then the next highest is 2. So she has carried a really large load for this team in the set.
Carly Scott's first appearance in this match has been starting recently at outside. Now has to get this serve in. Serves right at an eye. Perfect pass. Scott gets there. Diving play. This has to go over. Off the back and down. Baird reaching behind her head for that swing. Way out of system. And it's deuce.
Give that point to Carly Scott. Incredible save. I thought that ball was going to be down and out of nowhere. So gritty with the dig.
2 match points saved. That's a rocket. Hannah Maddox gives Vegas another match point.
You know it's a quick swing when no one touches it. Not the block, not the defender. She's able to find the floor so quickly and cleanly with that fast arm swing.
8 kills coming in off the bench for Hannah Maddox. Upped her volume last year from 3 kills per set to nearly 4 this year. 3rd match point for the Thrill on the road. Carly Graham serves at Baird. Good pass. And she attacks Vegas with all over the net. So Baird will get credit there for the kill. Likely to get that kill anyway, and it's deuce once again.
Interesting with this strategy, you will notice the Vegas Thrill is setting up more so on that right side of the net. Watch all the Vegas Thrill blockers. They are expecting Baird to get that ball.
It's a really good swing by Baird. This is legal. Vegas got it over. Here's DeBeer. She's roofed. Vegas was way behind at that point. It didn't matter. A 4th match point opportunity.
Good for Carly Graham keeping that ball alive. That was a messy kind of congested play up there at the net. But then Jardine, her impact has been incredible in this match. They're pointing her palm straight down. There was no chance of covering that ball.
Double-figure blocks for Vegas. 3rd personally for Jardine. 4th match point for the Thrill. It's Maddox, their leading ace getter on the season. Good pass by Elena Scott to Beer. Indy staved off 4 different match points.
I will tell you who is used to playing in high-pressure situations and in the red zone. And when the game is this tight, it is Anna DeBeer. She takes these big, brave swings because she's been here before.
Nice short serve by Crawford, targeting Maddox as well. Here's a chance for Indy to flip control of this deuce. They cannot bear on that swing by Baird. Good hitter coverage. Havili to DeBeer. Mary Schroll the dig. Back set. Graham to Jardine. Goes short. Havili made the dive. DeBeer cross court right at Schroll with a sliding dig once again. They react to the tip from Anai. What a point. A swing from the center. Havili. Martin reacts.
And the whole arena erupts. What a fun rally. So back and forth. I think a little communication error there at the end. Good defense from both teams. Hannah Maddox was in a better position to take that, but as Schroll, as the libero, you definitely want to be the one. And now the Ignite has match point, set point.
First set point. Jardine says no. Right back to deuce.
Jardine has been phenomenal. Look at where this ball lands. Just painting that end line about an inch away. So well done. Nice high snap.
Good serve by Van Buskirk, challenging Scott. Here's the beer.
Watch De Beer's explosiveness on this approach. Good set, nice placement, and then using the momentum in her swing. And that's a hard angle to swing at, but she did it really, really well by dropping that thumb and driving it.
6 of her 12 kills have come in the 4th set. Anai off the block and out. What a set this has been. Pro Volleyball Federation, worth the cost of admission.
Absolutely, and this is 2 teams siding out at such a high level. That's why it's so back and forth. The defense and the siding out efficiency.
Puts the take, and Jardine with an ace.
That's a high-risk, high-reward serve that she has, but give her the green light because that was really well done. It's difficult to pass a ball that tapes over the net.
Vegas has to win this set to stave off playoff elimination. They have to win in 4 in order to avoid elimination because of tiebreakers. Missed serve there, but Jardine doing her job, still scoring a point on the serve, making it tougher for Indy. Now they have to score an extra point on their serve. De Beer, great server. Anai handles and has the attack. Havili with the dig. Scott Baird rolls middle. Some chaos on the Vegas side. Hitter coverage. Who's going to get the
you can put your team in the best position to score, but a communication error there plagues them at the end of the set, and just like that, Indy's got 1 point for the set. 2-0, Katie Bear is in the front row now.
This is Bear.
Vegas is challenging block touch.
And now, obviously, we have a match that needs to be decided, but the game within the game, if this review doesn't go Vegas's way, they are officially out of the postseason due to tiebreakers.
And I was going for the high hands, going for the fingertips, a little bit under the ball. No block touch.
He almost contacted that ball with a closed fist, it looked like. The Ignite come all the way back. Don't forget they were down 7 earlier in the 4th set. End up winning 31-29. Going to the 5th set in Indy. This is what it looks like when you have 10 kills in a set. Sure, we're seeing some footage from earlier in the night as well, but 25 kills for Baird, 10 in the 4th set.
I mean, talk about unstoppable. She is just finding ways to score around the block. She's got a whole lot of tools in her arsenal, and she can bring them out when need be, depending on the defense, the block. If the defense is on their heels or a little bit deeper, she can tip it to that campfire. She just has really good court vision awareness, and she's extremely experienced, and that shows in the calm, cool, and collected way that she plays.
Now the 5th set is where Vegas wants to be. They're 4-1 this season in the 5th set. They're 9-2 all time. For whatever reason, I mean, it's a different team in certain ways from last year to this year. They were 5-1 last year, Vegas was in the 5th set. 4-1 this year. That has been their thing. Indy 3-4. And Vegas has a reverse sweep win over Indy. That came back in January. This would not be a reverse sweep for either team. Indy won the 1st set and the 4th set. Vegas took the 2nd and the 3rd. This one is played to 15, win by 2. Left backhand and down for Carly Graham. Again, she had 3 kills on the season coming in. And today, Carly Graham is 5 for 5.
I'm not sure if that was something in the scouting report or if she just has really good court awareness and is feeling it with the situational awareness, but she's been so efficient and really aggressive with her offense.
Remember, Childress got the start as she normally does tonight. Graham came in, besides a first set double sub, she came in the second set. That's a kill by Hannah Maddox. And Carly Graham up to 46 assists and 9 digs. Off the bench. Straight down. That is different from Lydia Martin.
Let me pick my jaw up off the floor. That was insane. Watch how high she gets up. Watch the snap on the ball. Just right on top of it. Full snap straight down.
A different type of angle. Martin follows it up with an ace. A couple of highlight reel points for the 6'3" rookie out of Oklahoma.
That's one of the best feelings in volleyball. You get the kill, you rotate to the back row, you serve, and you get an ace. She has all the rhythm with her right now.
Pretty good set by Graham. And she is rewarded with the assist. Lauren Jardine once again.
Graham is having a very solid game. She's all over the court. She's getting her feet to the ball. She's setting her hitters up for success. Jardine is loving these sets. She did a good job there of getting her feet to the ball and getting on top of it.
19 kills, 4 errors, 41 swings. Easily a career best for the rookie Jardine. Grace Wade has to try and cover it. Maddox had to decide, and she chose correctly. So something also to keep an eye on, Katie Baird, we mentioned, as you take a look at the Bolt 6 replay and how close that was. Katie Baird working on a 25-kill performance. Ricochets off, Havili on the cover. 26 kills for Baird. Now a member of her own team, Ajani Taylor, had a PVF record 31 kills earlier this season against Omaha.
Baird has been heating up. 17 kills in her first match, 15, 17, and now just topping it. I mean, she has the rhythm, and it's a different setter in there. It's not even Sydney Hilly, but she's got the connection there as well.
17 assists, 7 digs off the bench for Havili. Jardine hits line, but Scott was ready. And Buskirk runs the gap set along with Graham.
And that puts a lot of pressure on the block because of how quick that pass was. And then to the quick set, to the gap set. A lot of pressure on the block, really trying to come in to help, but good vision by Lane Van Buskirk. Seeing the block swing down, cross body, and getting the kill.
What are you seeing from Graham today? What has she brought to the offense?
I think she's running a very balanced offense. That's one of the things that's playing to their advantage because the block is not able to get into a rhythm. So she's mixing it up well. She's also doing a good job at feeding the hot hands in Jardine mostly, and then using herself as an offensive weapon as well. So just really solid all around in her game.
Well, George Padgett said this morning that when a team is blocking you a lot, it starts to affect everything that you do as an offense. I would say both teams have double-figure stuff blocks in this one, but the block hasn't been dominant on either side so far. Adora Anai takes care of that one. Vegas by 3. Indy hits the pause button. Timeout. Ignite.
Vegas has come out super strong. I like that aggression from Adora Anai, really getting after it, wanting to finish the play. Vegas has the momentum right now in this set. Indy at 0, hitting efficiency, hasn't really been able to finish the ball as well.
Score late to update there, and I will take responsibility as well. 7-3. So that's a big difference.
Absolutely, and Vegas Thrill, each player that is getting set is taking care of the ball. We've got Hannah Maddox in this set with the kill, Anai, Jardine, Carly Graham, Lane Van Buskirk. I mean, talk about a balanced offense that's really difficult to slow down and stop. And that's also a credit to their passing, their serve receiving, their defense. They're keeping themselves in system and allowing them to run their full offense.
3 straight points by Vegas. Maddox difficult to receive against. She scored twice in a row on her serve. Baird. Couple of diving efforts from Scott and Havili. Van Buskirk pounds it again, her 13th kill on 22 swings. Lane Van Buskirk's latest effort sends it to a timeout in Indy. Vegas in front. Lane Van Buskirk, 13 kills on 22 swings, sending this fifth set. The technical timeout, the team switched sides. Well, we've seen it before from Indy in the fourth set, coming all the way back from down 7. The fans are still in it, but less time to make that comeback, Madison, tonight, 8-3. In less time in the fifth set when you're only playing to 15.
Absolutely, and when it goes to 15, each point is so imperative. The pressure is on, each point is so important. Right now, Vegas just slightly outplaying Indy Ignite in a couple categories.
Maddox with a missed serve off the technical timeout. Indy back within 4.
In comes Anna DeBeer for the Ignite back row Baird. So watch Baird on the back row as well. She's an offensive threat there.
Right back to Lane Van Buskirk, as she left early last year to play for Team Canada in the Volleyball Nations League. So she's a player who has an established reputation internationally as well.
Nice high swing from DeBeer. Take a look at it, watch her approach, watch the explosiveness, block up and set, but Berkeley Oblak is getting swung over, and DeBeer swinging over her and getting the kill.
Indy looking for the comeback in the fifth. Berkeley Oblak there for the solo block, Lydia Martin.
Very disciplined by Lydia Martin, holding on that middle, trusting herself, rising into the air, and then diving her arms into that seam, reading the shoulder of the attacker and shutting it down.
Isabel Martin, the server, used frequently as a service shot. Hannah Nye with the side-out kill for Vegas.
One of the reasons why Anai is really difficult to defend is because she runs a very fast set. It's almost like sometimes she's not even max jumping, but she's beating the block there because of how quick that set is, and she's got a smooth, flat drive down, beating the block and the defense.
Baird overpass. Good touch by Anai, and she'll tap this one. DeBeer is rejected. Carly Graham.
Carly Graham is in it. It's hard not to watch her face after she gets that block. She is fired up, rising into the air. Good press and then good finish back into the court.
Well, mentioned either block has been necessarily dominant, but you also talked about how when Vegas is playing well, their block at least has a presence, and that's their 12th stuff block as a team. And remember, in the first set, they only, I believe it was 4-0. Thinking back to the first set was the margin for Indy. And so Vegas, since that first set, has been a much improved blocking team. Wonder if there's anything left in the tank after Indy had to work so hard to claw all the way back from 7 points down in the fourth set.
I think there's something left in the tank because this Indy Ignite team is comprised of a whole lot of competitors and also also athletes that know how to win and that have won at the highest level. Baird at Stanford, extremely successful. Elena Scott, Anna DeBeer taking Louisville all the way to national championship finals in college. So this is a team that knows how to dig in, be zonal focused, and come back when a game is this tight, but they're going to have to do it now.
They have the competitors out there. Jardine, plus tip, stands in the way of that swing. Lydia Martin at 6'3", tough to hit around.
Lydia Martin tends to be more of an offensive middle, but she can make blocks when it counts. She really can, and look how high she is over the net and all that press shutting it down.
Second point closing block of the night. Gets a piece of it, but it's down to the floor this time. And a 9 gets Vegas to 12. They're within 3 of winning this match.
Indy Ignite set up more on her line. So Adora Anai, with her vision, took care of the ball, sharp into that angle, tooling the block.
Anai still hitting negative, but 11 kills, 17 digs. Oblad takes care of it after Indy could not connect cleanly. And Vegas is within 2.
Service pressure. The service pressure for the Thrill has been phenomenal late in these sets.
Not a good pass there from Baird. Here's DeBeer. This is going to be in. Taken by Havili. Scott, back set DeBeer. Coming back over toward DeBeer. Just fits it over the net. And that will do it for that point.
Communication error on the Thrill side. Indy Ignite takes advantage. They needed that point. Now they're down by 5, so big push here. Anna DeBeer in the back row, Katie Baird in the front row. Let's see if she can make it happen.
Little update, good news for Indy Ignite fans. They're competing with Grand Rapids to get in the postseason. Grand Rapids has been swept by Omaha. That's not official. But Indy in trouble in the 5th. Indy that thought that had to be an illegal touch. No call was made. Anai tips from the back row. Pancake by Scott. Scott takes the second. Baird can't get it down. Dig by Schroll. Big swing by Jardine. Just misses the mark.
The Ignite is happy they got that one because they were not happy in the middle of that rally. They thought there was a lift on the Thrill side. It went uncalled. They continued to play. Played well and got the point.
That was like late in a tug-of-war battle. You feel the rope burn. Both teams searching for oxygen at this stage. Huge swing by Maddox. Even bigger dig by Scott. And Baird scores. Indy has life.
Elena Scott out, falling, one arm, I believe it's her right arm, yes, reaching, diving, getting that ball up, and it's not just that she got it up, it's a beautiful pass. It allowed Havili to run through her full offense, a little off the net, but still, I mean, just phenomenal pass. And just like that, the Ignite is in it because of those saves. So phenomenal.
You could feel both teams just having to reach down deep for something more. The point I was making there, Vegas uses one of its 2 timeouts, so still 1 remaining for the Thrill, none left for Indy. And just, this has been an absolutely fascinating dynamic, this match. I think you nailed it when I asked you about Indy. What could be left in the tank? You look at the names and the faces that are out there. Anna DeBeer's not going to back down. Katie Baird's not going to back down. And so on and so on. So you cannot count a team like this out, even when they're down big in both the 4th set and the 5th.
And they're operating at such a high level, even without their main captain on the floor, which is Sydney Hilly, another competitor that is so zonal focused and wants to win. So I just think it's true for every player on this Ignite team that they are very driven.
It was 13-7. It's now 13-10. Maddox ends the run. And Indy is going to have to work a lot harder. 4 match points for Vegas.
If you're Vegas, you absolutely needed that beautiful swing by Hannah Maddox. Sharp cross court.
Havili to Baird. It's down.
When in a pickle, Baird can take care of the ball. In system, out of system, it doesn't matter. Inside out, in trans, she does such a good job at getting off the net, driving through that ball, and then using all of her tools to her advantage. They're tooling the block, which was on its way down.
Match point number 2 within this set. Van Buskirk the swing. It's out.
Staying alive. If you're the Thrill, you need 1 side out. So service pressure here from Sydney Hilly back to serve is very important.
Indy has killed off 6 match points between sets 4 and 5. Can Maddox end it? She can! Hannah Maddox delivers the 5th set victory for the Thrill in Indy.
I think it's fair to call this an upset. What a phenomenal back and forth battle. Vegas really dug in. Even after that first set, they dug in. They refused to lose. They played at such a high level. They played very consistently, offensively, and then defensively, they amped up their game as well.
Great game.
Both teams, you really cannot say enough about the effort. Vegas getting down, blown out in the first set. And Indy coming back late as well. But these are the updated standings. Grand Rapids, remember, they lost tonight as well, so they missed an opportunity to gain ground on Indy. Still very much in great position for that number 4 playoff spot. Vegas 9-14 now.
My final thought, it is heating up. It does not get more intense or exciting than this. And with matches like this every single night, Pro Volleyball Federation is a blast and on the rise.
What a 5-set match this was. 31-29 Indy in that 4th set. That was memorable in itself. But Vegas wins the 5th set, staves off another potential comeback. Tomorrow night, Orlando at Columbus. Will be there at 7 o'clock Eastern time on the Roku Sports Channel. For producer Jeff Graham, director TJ McGinnis, our entire crew, and Madison Fitzpatrick, I'm AJ Cannell saying so long from the Fishers Event Center in Indiana. The Thrill win in 5.